it is kind of what you want to go for. But no, they're going to say, look, we're going to put hope back onto this one, this combination. They did have a fairly decent game 1. Game 2 looked a lot better, in my opinion, but I also think that was also due to the fact that Shanks was on something that can do exceptionally well. And there is a Viego and the Aphelios. They want resets.
I am going to be honest, not the biggest fan of Viego for Shadow, but that is more because of Dream's champion pool and how he will struggle trying to have that utility that can allow this Viego to pop up in these team fights. We'll have to see, because I think a Lissandra or even an Ari could work really well for Dream here, but is he going to be able to pilot those champions, as we of course had the Lee Sin 3 games in a row for Heng, but the Rakan is going to be a change-up for the support.
A little bit of a change-up. Does give fairly decent engage opportunities here for WE. We've seen plenty of Rakan kind of coming back into the meta. And of course, the Nautilus is picking up a little bit as well. So definitely plenty of options available here. And again, these are kind of identical kind of setups here for both these teams in terms of how they want to try and get a fight. I will say, in terms of the jungle, you will have a lot more priority here with Heng on this Lee Sin, especially for those first few levels. But if the Viego gets those resets, if the Viego gets into those fights with the Heartbreakers, that's where, as I said, you can heartbreak a hell of a lot more than just the ultimate.
Yep, and as we both sus luck in the Twitch chat of LPL, we are going to wait until how these solo laners are going to be able to opt into those ideal matchups. WE trying to get rid of all these good mid lane champions that synergize well with this Viego, who is going to try and go for those skirmishes when you do hit level 6. But I think Invincible, when it does come to his laning phase up against Biubiu, there's a clear difference between who is confident and who is really just suffering from an isolated matchup. Biubiu had the counter matchup with that Gragas into Jax, but it didn't really matter too much.
No, it didn't matter at all. So we'll see what they're able to kind of work with right now as final bans do come in. I like the Galio coming in here actually as well. Kind of something similar that we've seen with you can kind of go Galio, Camille. Yeah, could maybe be Lissandra coming in here. The LeBlanc is still available if they want to go for NIP. The Akali as well. Dream didn't have the greatest of situations, I will be honest. It does feel like Dream has not been the better of the two mid laners at all this series, even in the game 1 where NIP did win. So gonna go with the Ksante this time around. Pretty safe into that mid lane. If WE want to put Biubiu onto the Gwen, it does mean they will have a little bit of priority, but see what they want to try and go for this one here.
From Shanks. Lock it in, buddy. It's game 3 and playoffs is on the line. I think Shanks is probably one of our best risers in the LPL right now. He has the most damage ceiling when it comes to these 5v5s, and paired alongside Heng, where they are both on their most comfortable champions for this third game, is going to be very pleasant to watch, as the final pick for WE is going to be that Renekton, so something with a little bit more kill threat when it comes to the early game. But NIP saving this counter pick for Dream. You really have to make up for that lack of engage between your jungle and mid. So is it going to be the Syndra?
Syndra will be decent, because give you a nice little bit of disengage from a hell of a lot of engage on WE. And NIP have got themselves locked and loaded. Good mid-jungle combination here. Even mid-jungle support, to be honest with you. We've seen it many times where 3v3 happens up in that top in that mid lane. But plenty of single target CC, even AoE CC, to kind of set up this Viego, make sure he's getting his advantages and his angles in to get that stun off on afterwards. So for WE, they're looking to try and just get hope as the carry. Use Shanks on his patented rise, something he is so comfortable on, to be able to try and bring them over the line, get them to that 8-8 scoreline. 8-8 will get them to playoffs. That's all they need to get.
Make aggressive invades on this Viego, and you need this Viego ahead no matter what.
WE fans in force. This is it. Do or die. We went from every game matters to only this game matters. Win, you're in. Lose, and we'll see you in summer. That's how simple it is. NIP looking to play spoiler and to be the saviors of IG season. WE looking to try and prove that you need to get at least an average win rate in the LPL to even be considered below average. Because if you think about it, 8-8 is an average win rate, but 10th is not in the middle of the standings. So you actually have to be above average, or just on average to be considered below average in terms of playoffs. That's crazy.
Isn't it insane to think that Shanks is our average mid laner when in these team fights he is the shining star of WE. And Hope, when he is given the chance, he shines, but sometimes he shines a little bit too much and he kind of burns himself, if that makes sense. But hopefully for this game 3, now with Lwandy having a little bit of extra peeling ability, it is going to be able to catch up with Hope's aggressive nature and allow these team fights to go into the hands of WE. As we see a relatively standard start from both teams, Lee Sin starting the top side does mean he is going to path towards the bottom side, with Lwandy having a lot more gank setup. But Shadow starting his own red buff, I want to see a lot of aggressive 2v2s coming out of NIP.
See if the 2v2s do end up coming out from here. They're already starting to push forward. The early prowess of something like the Nautilus, definitely not to be messed with. We'll wait to see. We're gonna have a pretty, you know, kind of slow early game, I would imagine, from both these sides. So kind of want to just kind of set up everything once more. I know we said playoffs and in, but it is literally 10th position here for Team WE. They cannot go any higher. They cannot equal out RNG in terms of game score. So they will literally just be on top of them. But it could be TT losing tomorrow, and that could change up the way things work. So TT still got to do a little bit of work to make sure they're not 10th. And we might still have a little bit of a reshuffle, but in terms of who's playing who in the playoffs, of course, it's 7th versus 10th, and then 8th versus 9th in our first round. So still a couple of things to still be 100% figured out. Despite Top Esports having a 5-loss streak into a 1-win, you definitely want to try and avoid them, in my opinion, in the first round. But we shall see.
Isn't it insane to think that RNG and Top Esports are going to be in round 1 and 2 of the playoffs? These names are not very expected to be at the bottom side of playoffs, but of course Jackie Love, not Xiaohu, but Gala gonna be facing off each other perhaps, depending on how TT plays.
That's it. Could be seeing a little bit of movement there, but again, like I said, this is just all about WE and IG right now. This is to secure yourself into playoffs, and then look after that. See where TT ends up going, see where the teams end up moving around. That's kind of the difference maker, shall we say. But now we see
Heng wrapped around back to top, and Shadow's bottom lane now.
Yeah, not really going to gain much off of this, to be perfectly honest. He's very much waiting for this wave to crash in, as there is a ward. Nicely swept out there by Zhuo. Another ward gets dropped down here as Shadow needs to be a bit more wary of trying to take this camp. I don't think he's going to get this one for free, because I can't get this one at all, because yeah, this wave hadn't fully crashed, so they weren't actually losing a lot here from the WE bot side.
What is Heng doing? He went from blue to red.
Shadow, he just gets himself burned down so much. He flashes and keeps himself alive. It's going to be a 4v3, probably a 3v3 in the bot side. But with Dream having the first priority, the WE bot lane say, look, let's back away. We don't need to go for this one here. But already we're seeing Summoner's Burn, Ghost by Hope, and a Flash by Shadow.
I'm pretty sure if Heng was already in that bottom side to counter gang Shadow, that would have been first blood into W's hands. But this Lee Sin pathing got me really confused, Oisin. He went from his own blue buff to his red, and then back to Grom, and back to bottom lane Krug. I mean, he was all over the place, making trips around the world. Shadow, he did need to burn that flash, because Hope is working overtime alongside Lwandy, and then forcing this 2v3 style out of NIP, and I'm really confused, to say the least. But hopefully Heng is going to be able to be there for all of these counter ganks.
Hopefully, I see what you did there. Yeah, haha. It's like the little Korok seeds from Breath of the Wild. But Biubiu having a much better time here into the Ksante, having much more presence up in that top lane. Has about a 5 or so CS lead, so not doing too badly whatsoever. First dragon does spawn, but it'd be difficult for anyone to sneak that one away nice and easy. Lwandy and Heng find themselves here. This is the 3v3 I talked about. There's the scat of the week, but they haven't followed up just yet. There's some good trade back damage. Zhuo hasn't thrown out his hook just yet either. There's going to be the grand entrance to try and catch out Shadow. Flash by Lwandy. And these health bars are getting lower and lower. Heng would love a couple more seconds, but he knows the longer he waits, the more cooldowns that are available. Just like the scat of the week. Here we go. We're going to see the all-out coming out. Biubiu and Invincible trying to go for one. He wants nothing to do with this. He got the ghost. That's all he wants. He gets knocked back. Doesn't land the Q. But Invincible doesn't get the kill. And Biubiu, he's just has to be so wary of that all-out.
Yep, he doesn't have the TP available either, so this is going to be really hard if Biubiu wants to save for this extra wave. Does mean it from the very end, NIP burns that extra rise flash in the mid skirmish. I think that was actually really well played for NIP, specifically from Zhuo, where he was able to cancel the final W from Lwandy and diffuse the entire play. Invincible, he did make a little wraparound, putting that vision down, as he does expect Heng to help with this push.
We'll come back into a very even game state. A lot of posturing, a lot of summoners burned, but nobody going down just yet. The only real advantage now being picked up by NIP. The ninjas sneaking themselves away to a dragon. And now Heng gonna see if he can maybe make the most out of this moment of no jungler on the top side, or at least a moment of information, and says, yeah, gotta go towards that top lane. Get myself a red buff, possibly even the Krugs as well. But Dream is already on a little bit of a roam. There's great vision control right now from the side of NIP, so they know roughly where everyone is on this side of the map. So Dream putting down another ward. He is very caught out, has got a flash, does get the scat of the week down, flashes away because he knows if he gets caught out by the Rune Prison, he tries to walk forward. There's the Rune Prison down, Q lands, and he's going to be falling down. First Blood comes in, Heng flashes over the wall as the Heartbreaker does no such thing. And Shadow shall not be getting a reprise. First Blood to WE.
I mean, Dream, there was no reason for you to be hovering and walking in such a greedy path. You could have just walked through your red buff. As Shanks and Heng caught onto this, without your jungler around, Shadow was doing his own bottom side camps. It's just First Blood going into the hands of W, and also this Herald is going to get started.
Started and taken. No one in top lane or mid to really kind of support Shadow if he were to go for some kind of re-engage. But let's have a look at the replay here, because like I said, Dream was roaming up, but then once he realized Heng was there, he's just caught.
He just didn't expect Heng to do his own red buff on the enemy jungle, and then this flash forced out by Shanks, not taking the realm up either, does just force Dream into a bit of a chokehold, as Shadow was a little bit late to the play. Also, not enough damage to finish off Heng and get that reset. So just unfortunate things from the mid jungle of NIP, and I said that this was the most important element for NIP's team composition.
You did indeed. You can see how important it is. The damage was there. It was significant. The thing, you know, Lee Sin went from 100 to nearly 0 very, very quickly, but still not enough to be giving you a kill back. So Rift Herald goes over, a kill as well. It's about a 1,500 gold lead now for Team WE. Ninjas in Pyjamas looking to maybe get an overload here on the bot side, but might have found Lwandy instead. Zhuo pops out over the wall to make sure that he does not get caught out, but that red buff might be stolen back now, as well as the first one was stolen by Heng.
Yep, with NIP giving up their topside vision does mean Zhuo and Shadow are going to work together and get that return red buff, as they did secure the Inferno Dragon from earlier, but we've seen this very similar game state of the blue side winning early game first. But hopefully for this final game, W doesn't throw it away from silly mistakes, because Shanks, I mean, he's on his iconic pick, and Rise having that realm up available in about 30 to 40 seconds can make plays around the map, and hopefully they can help out this Zeri and get her online as well.
Again, WE, they don't want to be too hasty, but they do need to find advantages where they can. Shadow going to walk headfirst into two members, but WE don't pull the trigger just yet. You can see a little bit of hesitation there from WE, as you can see.
Oh my god!
Oh, Photic just badging out, and Hope has to lose his flash. That is not ideal for the WE bot lane, especially with Dragon up in a minute 30.
That's it. Dr. Kitty's coming back from retirement, and I'm diagnosed Hope with Zeri syndrome. Stop being forward. Your support wasn't there. And Zhuo was just luckily out of vision and spots Hope trying to be aggressive on the Zeri, opting into that 1v1 again, but caught off guard, flashing immediately. It's just -1 flash.
Yeah, I mean, it's just straight up. You went over and you lose. That's just simple maths. -1 flash for you, 0 for the enemy team. That is an easy win for you. As we can see, Invincible going into Biubiu again. And Biubiu maybe feeling a little bit more confident. We'll have the W in a second. And already we see Invincible say, yep, I'm going to have to pop the ghost. Don't want anything to do with that fight just yet. Ward does spot out Shadows. So there's not going to be any over-aggression here from Biubiu. With 40 seconds till Dragon, that is the NIP jungler on the top side of the map. So he's not really in a position to try and contest this straight off of spawn.
Yeah, but to be fair, WE does have all the visions already set by Lwandy previously, so it does seem like this dragon is going to get comfortably taken by the side of WE. NIP playing it relatively slow as Photic does have the purple and blue. Not too much damage compared to Hope, but with him burning the flash earlier, I'm not going to be surprised if Zhuo just kind of goes into the fight and ults the Zeri straight away.
It's tense. TP into mid from Dream means that he is in position to potentially contest for this one. But like you said, hell of a lot of vision control available here for Team WE. 4-level difference between Zhuo and Shanks is kind of nutty right now. Especially for a Rise who is just going to kind of scale so well later on to the game. Here we go. Dragon down to about 2,000 HP. We're going to see a full engage. They're going to try and get on top of the jungler, and Shadow is dead. Dragon gets secured as well. And that's Zhuo losing his flash after everything is said and done. So a kill, a Dragon, WE having a good time for the moment. But I will say, we talked about this in the break before we got into this game. The team that has led after 20 minutes hasn't necessarily won. So you got to be a little bit more careful here, WE, with this lead.
And it was just pick after pick, and Shadow face checking without any vision control. Another pick on Lwandy.
They catch Lwandy with Zhuo trying to see if he can work this one out. Double knockup means that Shanks can't put out the DPS flash. Yeah, and the unleashed power means it's a 2-for-1 trade back in favor of NIP. This is what I'm talking about. You can't be getting complacent.
W got the dragon. Why are you still face checking that bush? Because NIP, as Shadow died, they just gave up on this ocean dragon. But W giving chances for NIP to come back into the game by giving over 3 kills over to Dream. And of course the ADC, which is just complete craziness. I mean, Shadow face checks this into Shanks, but they just didn't have the vision control to ever contest this dragon. And it is going to be the dragon going to get finished off by WE and just cut the play right. You don't need to contest with the vision anymore. There's no major objective. Just leave and reset with the gold that you've been able to generate. But Lwandy, being a little cheeky bastard, decided to walk back in. And of course, with the ultimates all online for NIP, pick up Heng as well.
Sorry. I did not expect. Yeah, I just did not expect you to describe him like that. That's awesome.
I'm getting so annoyed.
I can tell. I can tell. Oh man, that was amazing. Well, it's good to know that when a fellow was on the team, that Hysterics isn't on his own with the descriptions of certain people. But oh, fantastic. Sorry, I'm just reeling myself back in from that one. So we come back into live. WE. So only about 1,000 gold leads. They're not running away with this early game, to say the least. And Photic has been just scaling up a little bit of a storm in that bot side. Both AD carries happy with their first items for the moment. The Rift Herald going to be soloed out here by Heng. So a bit more priority given over to NIP's bot side, and Biubiu should be able to get himself this tower for free. And that will be the first tower of the game. So, looking at this one here, we're coming up the first item completions. We're looking at teams kind of, waiting for this next dragon to spawn in 2 minutes time. How do NIP want to approach this? Because remember, they're the ones that have been kind of slowly... Pause myself if we do see Invincible getting a bit of a knockback. Go out, all out on top of this one here. It's a straight up 1 item versus 1 item. Flash has been burnt as Biubiu not quite able to get away from this. And it doesn't matter if you go Gore Drinker. It doesn't matter what you do. Ksante is still Ksante.
Invincible is just playing so well for all 3 games across the series, getting another solo kill onto Biubiu now. Dragon, no Herald online for the side of both teams, but with that solo kill going to Invincible's hand, extra 300 gold. Zhuo gets a hook onto Hope as Shadow is lurking around.
Well, they're looking for more. Hope will have to flash over the wall. We'll get hit by the Q after the back end of that, so not feeling the healthiest. Has a little bit of honey fruit, though, to supplement him back up. But Invincible getting that kill on top side is massive. Not only does it give over the kill goal, but it does confirm this tower as well. So you're looking at a much stronger top lane kind of setup. Flash forward in here by Shanks. He wants this kill. You shall not kill my top laner. The phase rush is good. Does he have enough movement? I don't think he does. He wants another one, but he can't. And Shanks, he's getting desperate. They don't want to be giving over those summoners so easily.
I mean, it is just going to be the flash for mid-party, I suppose, but Invincible is going to run away scratch-free. He'll gladly take that flash from Shanks. Also, Realm Warp use as well, getting the double charge from mid lane. We're going to take another look at what happened in this top side, as Biubiu was already really chunked out from the initial trade. And Ghost, I mean, when you do have the flash as the Renekton, this Ksante is stuck onto you like glue, and you just don't have the damage to ever one-shot him in a 1v1, flashing towards that bush. But with this pink ward available, he just spots him out straight away, and you can't really play with the vision, as it is just a very terrible day to be WE fan.
Yeah, facepalm. Definitely feel this from the fans there. Now you have Shanks kind of being put onto side lane duty. With there being an Ocean Dragon available potentially here for NIP, they have total control over this objective. There's no trade back. There's no nothing for you to kind of go for. I will say the mid lane did get taken, as well as a big charge on the tier 2. So that mid lane could be going down. There's no contest right now. I like this from WE. There's no real soul in the net for at least another 10 minutes, even once this is taken. So get yourself a turret, get yourself more gold, more power in those side lanes, make it that little bit longer so that if anyone does go up, they have a much harder time of getting back into a fight.
Yeah, but to be fair, WE is taking all of these towers down for the top side and also mid lane, and it does open up the entirety of that top side jungle for access, as Baron is going to be spawning very soon, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Biubiu trying his best to face off in this isolated matchup, but I don't think he's ever going to win the 1v1. Now it's Sunfire in Invincible's pockets as well. But they need to look for these flanks onto the carries of NIP, because Dream and Photic, they're still relatively squishy. Biubiu just needs his flash available.
Just needs his flash. Invincible does have Ghost in a couple of seconds. Gonna try and keep himself alive and well, and should be able to dash. That was about 5 dashes in the space of about 10 seconds, so definitely not ideal if you're trying to catch out the Ksante, but it does mean that he has nothing left in his tank to try and defend this, so more gold, more objectives, more control, like you mentioned, Kitty, coming in around this map. And I gotta say right now, WE, they're not panicking just yet. They're keeping themselves away from 5v, out macroing. This is gonna be another tower.
Yeah, NIP is just giving over tower after tower, as this is going to be both top and bottom given over for free. They can't even engage here because their ADC is sitting in mid lane and Dream has just reset. A lot of these objectives are going over for free, and I'm getting worried because NIP, I mean, this Viego, I said, he needs to become the win condition and get those resets online, but he's currently sitting on 0, 1, and 0.
0, 1, and 0. Not having the best of times, but again, it's low kill game. 5 kills in 20 minutes. Definitely not the most kill-hungry opportunities we've ever seen in the LPL. Definitely have had a little bit more. And WE come out now after kind of getting the resets off with about a 4,000 gold lead, maybe 4.5. Lwandy moving around as the only real active member on the map right now to try and defend this mid lane turret. Should be able to hold it just for until the Zeri arrives. But if everyone from NIP just fully commits to it, might be able to kind of hard force this objective down. But Zeri coming back on top of this. We are going to see... Oh, the Unleashed Power's been used. Hope trying to see if he can maybe go for something there. Shanks thought about taking that Realm Warp, but probably had the best of things. Definitely didn't take it, so we'll see. Now we come back into a bit of posturing as both teams are starting to ramp up. They know that the next fight could be critical, could be crucial in taking this series.
A straight up 4v4 in this mid lane, as eventually WE gets forced off their tier 1 tower, but that looked really scary for Lwandy, but because he's a slippery Rakan, he was able to get away from Dream's combo. WE looking to regain this top vision control, as NIP needs to reset here with the amount of gold that they were able to generate from earlier. I think Hope with the flash available now, Zhuo is going to be a little bit more tough
Get
trying
out
to
of
get
there,
his hands onto the
WE.
Zeri.
I've seen too
Ooh,
many games thrown because of a Baron started at 20 minutes, and I will not have this one thrown again. Both teams happy to back themselves away. I think it was more just WE saying, look, if you didn't check it, we would have gotten it. So, you know, be aware. Be very aware of what we're trying to go for here.
Yep, and also double stopwatch available for the mid jungle of WE for now. So if Dream misuses his ultimate and all the burst from NIP's team composition, it's going to be really tough since Shadow is depending on this Luden's Syndra to make a lot of those enemy champions on 1 HP. But we haven't seen that just quite yet, with also Dragon spawning in 1 minute, where Invincible is consistently getting this bot side priority. We need a flame from Biubiu, please. Flash onto the enemy carries and delete one of them if you can.
I mean, it's a lot of if, buts, and maybes to be putting on to one player, but we'll see. Hope going to be able to kind of keep himself relatively safe, you'd imagine, be able to helter-skelter himself over the wall should he be in any way, shape, or form caught out. And everyone's got themselves their summoners backed off. Actually, a bit of a teleport mismatch for the moment. Invincible and Biubiu going toe-to-toe. Just gets the dominance, and honestly, Invincible's just owning this lane, and we can kind of have a little bit of a broader conversation about this, because we see the Renekton into the Ksante so often, but it does feel like the later the game goes, the Ksante just has a much better time of it. Dominance does run out. They're going to have the Ghost available for Invincible should they need it. And everyone just backs themselves away. But committing 2 people bot side means that you're not able to defend 3v4 in this mid lane. They lose a mid tier 2. It's all about the macro. It's all about not dying. It's all about not getting caught.
They just gave 2 mid tier towers. I 1v run. Okay, he got away, but Shanks is on the flank.
Shanks is on a very good flank right now. Shadow thinking about maybe moving forward on top of this. They all back themselves away. 7 seconds till Dragon. This will be sole point here for NIP, and a TP's coming in here from the Ksante.
W was a little bit too slow with getting their hands onto Invincible, and that was just 2 towers going to the hands of NIP, opening up the map. Baron and Dragon are both available. If W is not too careful, they can potentially just burn the Baron, because it's not going to be too big of a deal with this Ocean going over.
Ooh, a flank from Dream, though. Does get the stun off, but Merc Treads helping him out with that bit of tenacity now. You're kind of on the back foot a little bit. Biubiu getting caught out here by Invincible. Flank! Kick! Dream! Dead! Turned into a nightmare. They can take the Realm Warp right on top of Photic. They're going to try and keep this area away from him as he's doing some decent work. Keep himself alive. Zhuo flashes over the wall. Invincible trying to take out Lwandy. Photic does eventually go down as Hope tries to take out the Ksante. Finally looking like he will finally go down. And that is what WE needed. That could be the straw that brings them the playoffs.
And that's Baron for WE. A 4-3 for zero trade. I mean, Dream was just caught way out of position, having that flash available as well, but Heng was just a step ahead of him, getting that flash kick onto the Syndra, and that is one of your biggest disengages gone from the team fight. And NIP struggling to regain control over the overall fight. They were just dropping 1 by 1, but we're going to have to see how this all started as Dream tried to get an angle and a stun onto the backline, but because of that, he walked so greedily back to mid lane. Heng was able to flash kick him into the face of Hope, and that is a dead Syndra, with Shanks also cutting off all escape routes. With this Realm Warp, this meant this fight was over the second it started. And also Baron in the hands of WE now. The scaling composition is online, Oisin.
It is. It was very close. So many moments there where someone could have died. A flash being the difference between life and death. As the fans in the crowd, they know something is happening. They know that they need to keep this momentum going. They can feel the playoffs coming. And with 3 items on the Zeri and a denial of that soul point, they have themselves an opportunity. 6,000 gold, Baron and the Dragon. NIP need to find an opportunity. But again, NIP, if they can get Dream into a much better situation, I feel like Dream just kind of looked for an opportunity, but just looked a bit too hard and got himself caught. So Dream's in a front to back like that next time, with that Scatter the Weak not off cooldown, that could be a very different fight.
How is Shadow still sitting on 0 KB at 25 minutes? I'm really shook. I mean, to be fair, Biubiu is also sitting on 0, but...
It's only 3 kills, to be fair to us.
Yeah,
it is only 3 kills for
the
NIP.
team fights set up by Heng with these flash kicks. He is just so good on the Lee Sin when he does find his mojo. Now, a 4-1 composition getting pressured by Shanks as this Rise is now level 16 with the stopwatch available as well. NIP is now slowly getting suffocated with their inhibitors.
You can see Shanks just expertly dancing around Invincible and bringing him down to about a third of his HP. It's very hard to really take down these turrets. You're very short ranged here as WE. And look, on the mini-map, I want to point this out because it could be important later. There is one pink ward on the WE side that belongs to NIP right there below Blue Buff. That could be a flank ward for ages. I'm just pointing it out now because it could see an opportunity. There's plenty of flank wards here as well as Heng is kind of trying to see if he can keep the side lane push in here with Shanks. They're not gaining a lot of damage here onto these turrets. Sure, half HP onto that mid lane tier 3, but it's not going to go down until one more wave. This is your last opportunity, you would imagine, here as WE to break this one open before you're really waiting for the next big objective fight.
Yeah, the waves aren't really set up together where this bottom wave is getting pushed in extremely fast and the mid wave hasn't caught up just quite yet. So it seems like NIP has survived this Baron buff going over to WE, but the experience is still in the hands of Shanks and Hope, where they are now level 15 compared to Photic, who's level 13. And I mean, we've seen this Syndra, it can pop someone, but you need to position perfectly or Heng is just going to kick you into the enemy's face, and that is going to be a 4v5 from the very start of the fight. As we have 3 items online for the Zeri now, and Shanks on this Rise consistently pressuring the side where Biubiu, he doesn't need to do his job anymore, he can just group.
Exactly that. And my brain went a little bit wayward there. I thought Shanks was going to build a Lich Bane with that Aether Wisp, but no, he's building a Cosmic Drive, of course. Definitely not going to be building the Lich Bane. Not too far off the building mechanics of it, actually. I think it's just the only difference is that the Cosmic Drive requires an amplifying tome, and then Lich Bane is a Sheen. So we'll see how that does finally get picked up and finished off. So 3 items onto your carries. You're still waiting for that 3rd item here for the Aphelios. You would love to get him up that Lord Dominic's regard. No survivability really here for Photic. Hasn't gone for that Bloodthirster. Has only got the Gale Force and the damage he puts in. And honestly, I kind of like that he's going for this because he knows that if he's going to try and go toe-to-toe with Hope, he just has to put out DPS.
Yep, and hopefully DPS is all you need because Dream is working towards that Void Staff right now. Level 15 as well. He just needs one ultimate onto a squishy champion, and that's where you set Shadow's resets going off in these team fights. And hopefully now, only one Black Cleaver. I'm not too sure if he's going to actually be able to find those angles.
Oh, looking for one there. They can kill Invincible. That's your front line. Dead. Buried. WE had an opportunity, and then they may be able to break open the base.
I mean, NIP's mid-jungle was just sitting in that top side, and Invincible, extremely tanky, still gets instantly bursted.
They're looking for the end.
It's going to be Inhibitor.
They may be looking for the end here. They're going to look to try and end it 5v4. They know this is probably going to be one of the best opportunities they have. Without it being a straight-up flip. There we go, full-on engage. He's going to land there on top of Heng, and they're going to get Biubiu down. That's both top laners dead. Shadow gets a reset with the Renekton. You can see Shanks trying to just deal with these super minions. Flash in. Shanks almost gets taken out, but the Viego's dead and buried. It looks like they may have been able to do it. It's all on Photic. These health bars are low enough. He's got an Infernum, he's got Gravitum, but he's got no Alter Flash. You have to use his Cleanse as well. WE 4v2. Is this the moment? 4v1. It's going to come down to NIP's AD carry, but I don't think they can do anything here. He's gonna die. And now Invincible. It's a quadra kill for Hope. Can they give him the penta? But Invincible's really big and there's not enough minions. He needs to kill this Nexus turret. There it is. The Nexus is exposed. Finally, we can see it go in. Invincible's looking for more. He gets kicked back. He gets the shutdown, but he's dead. Penta kill, but WE have done enough, and WE are going to playoffs.
WE secured their 10th position in the playoffs, but Hope wasn't able to get his last kill for that penta, but it's okay because now you are going to be in contentions in that round 1. And WE, I mean, it was a very tough series, but they still came back out on top.
Oh my lord, right at the end there with the Ksante and an Aphelios on the enemy team, you really can't count out the fact that they could turn that one right back around. But WE, they held strong, great, you know, kind of heads up play to recognize they had an opportunity to pull out of the fight, the only one who could really put a threat down onto Hope. And they were able to execute fantastically. Unfortunate for Nip,